Having music lessons can be a lot more helpful and important than many musicians realise. But the key is in how you think about the role of the teacher. When you understand all the different things they're helping you with and how they're doing it, that is really what's going to help you get the most out of it. Hi friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Morley-Fletcher from playinthezone.com, and on this channel we explore strategies and insights to help musicians play better, improve faster, and just generally have more fun along the way. So today I want to talk a little bit about music teachers and why they're so important and how to get the most out of them, because I think a lot of people don't see everything that they can provide, because whatever the level you're at, whether you're a real expert or a beginner or anywhere in between, having a teacher, having someone giving you that input, whether it's an official teacher or something else, is so vital. And a lot of this comes down to the word teacher itself. Actually, I don't think that's always the most helpful way to look at it, because where I see the most benefit from getting other people's advice and expertise is often around the role of a coach rather than what we might think of as a teacher. Because yes, they will give us information, but information is out there all around us. You look here on YouTube, all those sorts of things. You can find so much just instruction on what to do and how to do it. But there are things that you can get from someone taking a coaching role that you just can't get in that way. Insights that are really important. So it's not about the information, or certainly not only about the information, it's about how you work with it. And some of the things that teachers can do in their role as coach, and whether this is a formal teacher or anyone else, anyone who's helping you out, they can provide that outside perspective. So they are seeing your situation from a distance, so there's less emotional attachment to it. They're also, just seeing things from the outside. That gives a different view, and they're bringing that expertise. So not only are they seeing some things, but they understand what it means, what the deeper significance is. And they can also really help with accountability. So it's not just, do you know what to do, but are you actually going to do it? Are you going to get it done? And you're going to stick with the most important things. And then there's motivation as well. I'm not going to talk about that so much in this video, but it can really help having that outside input for your motivation too, a lot of the time. And to give some examples of this, for me, myself, I have had teachers for music in various different forms all down the years. And however good I get, however much I think I know, I still find it helpful, and I still make sure I go and seek out teachers. I get coaching in my tennis. When I'm playing tennis, I'm always looking to get coached. And I'll talk about that a bit more, about how that works and how that feeds in. But I know what to practice myself, but I always want to get that input. And just for all the work that I'm doing as part of my website and my YouTube channel here at Play in the Zone, I am constantly getting input from people who know more about this, people who have more experience, people who have an external perspective. And yes, sometimes you can get these things for free, but generally I choose to pay for it. I choose to pay for all these inputs because I find that really helpful. And another thing, I guess, from the world of business that I find very interesting is when you look at the people who are successful in business, they are not generally thinking, oh, I don't need advice. It's actually the people who are more successful who tend to be the ones who are more likely to have a coach. And again, you look at the top sportsmen and women, pretty much all of them, they will have a coach. It's not about, okay, when I don't know stuff, I want someone to teach me some things. Wherever you are on your journey, and sometimes even more the higher you get, this becomes really, really valuable. So let's talk about a few of those different ways in which a coach or a teacher can help you out. And the first one that I mentioned was this outside perspective on things. And I think it's nice to give an example of this. And my tennis coach is one that I'm going to use here. So Jimmy is who I've had most lessons with recently, but I've had various tennis coaches over the ages. And this is definitely a case where, yes, they're going to know some technical things that I don't, but actually, in many senses, I'm clearer on what I want from a technical perspective, how I want to get better than them, because I've been looking at quite a lot of the teaching out there, just the information on how I want to change my strokes, what I want to do, what the details of all this means. But it's a very, very different thing to see, well, actually, am I managing to do it, and how do I get there? Because, and for me in tennis, having grown up with a lot of bad habits and not had coaching, I have many, many years of playing, doing things the wrong way. And it's really hard to break that. So it leads to this incredible situation where I think I'm doing what I want to do. I know what the technique is I'm trying to do, and I'll go and hit a ball and I think, oh yeah, I've got that. And it's so valuable having a coach on the other side of the net, because he'll just look at me and go, nope, you did exactly what you were doing before. You're not doing that right at all. And I can be sitting there thinking that I'm doing something correctly, but it needs someone else outside me, partly with the more experience, but partly because they've actually got that external viewpoint. They can see what's going on and they can point out when I'm managing to do something or not. And the other thing that this external perspective provides is a real ability to see the stuff that I'm not paying attention to, that I'm not aware of. So I might be working on something in tennis with my forehand, and first of all, Jimmy can jump in and say, no, you haven't got that. But he'll also look at it and say, well, wait a minute, hold up, back off. I know you want to work on this, but do you realize you're doing this other thing, which is more fundamental and you need to fix? And example of this in tennis has often been to do with my footwork, my body positioning, just how I'm using the whole body. But this is stuff where, without someone else to point this out to me, without someone else with that external perspective and that experience, I'm going to go on working on something which is frankly not the most relevant thing for me to be working on. And this happens exactly the same in music lessons. When you work with a good teacher, the number of times we've been working on something specific that I've brought to them, and one of my teachers has jumped in and said, wait, back it up. I see something else, and I know we weren't working on this, but frankly, you need to sort that out first. So that external perspective can be hugely valuable. And second thing that I mentioned was just the accountability for A, getting stuff done, and B, doing the right stuff, because it's so easy to get distracted by things, and it's so easy to make excuses to yourself, really, to justify why you're doing stuff, and before you know it, you think you're doing the right things, but you've gone way off track. So a coach can really hold you accountable to this, and hopefully a good teacher will do this for you. And it's about identifying, well, what is the most important stuff for you to work on, and then making sure that you do it. So great example, this particular one is from a guy I know who does business coaching, and it's applied in a lot of areas, but it can totally be applied to music as well. I'm sure there are teachers out there who do that. But when he gets his students, whatever the regular time is, once a week or something like that, he'll just ask them at the end, and what is the one thing that you are going to get done definitely, no question about it, by the next time I see you next week? And this really forces people to commit to doing something. And when you're only given one thing in this case, it's got to be, well, what is the thing that's going to make the most difference? And it's the sort of idea that it feels like this should be pretty easy for you to do. I mean, technically, I can do this myself, but I still go and pay for coaching, whether it's music, tennis, business, whatever, that is going to force me to make those difficult decisions. Because often, you would much rather say, oh, I'm going to do everything, or think, well, I'll probably do that. You don't give a verbal commitment or written commitment to someone and then you let it slide. So that accountability of a good teacher, a good coach, is really helpful as well. And as I said, the information is out there, and good coaching, good teaching is often not about the new stuff. When I think about when students come to me for private one-to-one lessons on their music, it's relatively rare that I am telling them stuff that is completely new to them, that they don't know, that they have no idea about, and they say, oh wow, this is something completely new, that's brilliant, that's totally changed things for me. There's some stuff that comes up like that, but more often it's helping them to get clarity on what is it that they need to do, and just forcing them to make the decision that they kind of know, but it's tough to do if it's just on your own. It's things like that. It's helping them see the situation in a slightly different light, helping them talk through things and work out, with some guidance from me, but mostly coming from them, on what is it that needs to be done. It's on reminding them when they've lost that external perspective. I can bring that and bring them back to what it is they need to do. So just a few thoughts there on the value of having a teacher, having a coach who can provide that external perspective, who can hold you accountable for identifying the most important things to do and then making sure that you do them. And so if you're already working with a teacher, I hope you see this as perhaps some ways in which you can use that relationship better. And if you're not, and you were thinking, well, do I really need that? Maybe that's given you some insights into why it might be really helpful. And just to kind of talk about the outcomes here, I definitely see people who get help, who have lessons, have good teachers, make much faster progress than people who don't. So it's something I always recommend that you do. Now, it's not quite as effective, but you can definitely have a go at acting as your own coach. So if you'd like one idea on how to do this, then check out the video on the question that makes you a better musician next. And if you'd like the special practice and performance tips that I only share with subscribers, then head on over to playinthezone.com and sign up for the emails. They're free. I've been Morley-Fletcher. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.